Hello, my wonderful students. I hope you had a great weekend and that you're well rested and ready to learn about the next step in the printing process today. If you haven't finished up carving your plate from last week's video yet, go back, watch that video, finish up carving, and then you'll be all caught up and ready for this video. Before I begin today's demo, I wanted to highlight some artists who work with relief printmaking. Albrecht Dürer was a German Renaissance artist who lived in the late 15th and early 16th century. Just to remind you, that means he was born in the late 1400s and died in the early 1500s. Anyway, he made these really elaborate relief woodcut prints. Back then, they didn't have linoleum easy cut plates to work from like we do, but instead, they had to actually carve their prints out of flat blocks of wood. The process is very similar, and artists today still make woodcuts like his. Notice how intricate and detailed his prints are. He used lines in a way that would give his prints more value by hatching and creating different textures even though he was just using black ink. Another example of an artist working with relief printmaking is local Denton artist Anna Tovar. She is a contemporary artist, which means that she is alive and working today on new art. She loves to show different aspects of her process on Instagram, and I think it's a really awesome look into how real professional artists function. She does everything from carving the plate, mixing her ink colors, and hand printing many of her pieces. Her work typically uses floral or natural motifs or themes, and I enjoy how she uses black line and white line as well as different colors to capture these different plants and flowers. So, after that bit of art history and inspiration, let's jump into learning the next step in the printing process. So what we'll be using today in our demo is our carved and ready to go plate, the brayer to transport our ink onto our plate, some water-soluble ink, a piece of glass or wax paper, an old credit card or palette knife, some scrap paper, and we're ready to get started. Our first step is to get our brayer fully inked and bring up our plate to the preferred darkness or opacity. So, I'm gonna start with black. And you're just gonna squirt out a little bit onto your surface. Probably about that much is good. Just a little squirt. I'm gonna take my old Vans gift card that's already been used up. You don't wanna use a credit card that you're still using, but any old one will do. And you're gonna kind of swipe it around. Just make sure it's all mixed in, because sometimes it can have a little bit of goop that needs to get mixed in. So, you're gonna take a bead, and what a bead is when you scrape it up. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's a little bump of ink, and we're going to spread that out just like that. Now we want it to be thick and full, and you don't want to be able to see through it, but you don't want to get it too thick because that's going to be too much ink for our printing process, and it only really needs to be as wide as our brayer is here. So I think we're good. So I'm just gonna set this down right over here. And so to start with your brayer, you're just going to take a little bit. You can see that I only have a little bit on my brayer. You're gonna roll it, pick it up. Roll it, pick it up. Roll it, pick it up. Keep doing that. We're gonna start off really light just so you can kind of see how this process works. You don't need to roll it very long. You only need to roll it about as wide. It's like a little square that is as wide as the brayer. So you're gonna keep rolling that. The point of doing this is to make sure the brayer has been fully reached with ink, but as you can see, I'm definitely going to need some more ink. That's really light, and we want it to look more like that. Not that thick, but closer to that. So I'm gonna get some more. I might roll it 3 times over there, and I'm gonna start rolling. Pick it up and roll. You can't just roll back and forth like this because you're only getting ink in the places you already have ink. So pick it up each time. Maybe give it 1, 2, pick it up, 1, 2. You know, you'll figure out your rhythm. And this isn't quite enough yet still. So I'm gonna go one more time into my little bead of ink up here, and I might even go sideways a little, pick it up. This will just make sure our brayer has been fully inked. All right, what do we think? Does that look fully inked? I think so. So next we're gonna look at our plate. And my brayer is almost as big as my plate, and that should be the case for you guys as well. So what you're going to do is I'm gonna start going horizontally. I'm gonna ink my plate horizontally once, twice, 3 times. And you can see where the ink has been lifted off of my brayer. That means you're going to wanna go back to your original pad of ink. Not really this one up here. This one should be fine for now. And you're gonna wanna get some more ink on there. Just rolling gently. You don't have to press really hard or anything like that. You can just roll really gently, picking it up as you go. And now I'm going to go vertically. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, just right over your image. And as you can see again, my image has been taken up. Now, it looks like my little pad of ink is getting a little bit dry. Oh, and one more tip. Whenever you're putting your brayer down, don't put it down like this, because look what you'll do. You'll get a dirty spot. So you don't want to do what I just did. You always want to set it to where the plastic side is down. I still have a little bit of ink here, so I'm going to get another bead, just like that, and spread it out just like I did the first one. And build up that color again. So it might take you a few tries to get this right, but it's all about learning. And you can probably hear, it kind of makes a sticky noise. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's how you know when it's ready. You don't want it to be super duper inky. So now I'm gonna go diagonally on my plate. 1, 2, 3, and then lastly, we're gonna go diagonally the other way. 1, 2, 3, and actually, I might give it one more horizontal stroke, just to make sure that it's all good and inked. Now, we're not ready to put our real paper on here, but I do just want to show you what it looks like as, just to see how our ink is doing. Do we have the right amount on our brayer? And I'm gonna press that in. I'll show you more about this in the next video. So right now I'm just using my hands. And we can see that maybe I need to bring up my ink just a little bit more, but that was pretty good for a first start. So just to finish up with a little recap of the steps for this demo, you're gonna make a line from a bead of ink on your glass or wax paper with your palette knife or your card. Next, you're gonna build up the ink on your brayer evenly by picking up and putting down your brayer, rolling it, and evenly coating it. Lastly, you're going to apply that to your plate in vertical, horizontal, and diagonal strokes to make sure that your plate is fully and evenly coated. All right, that's it for the inking our plate portion of the printing process. Be sure to rewatch this demo if you have any questions or forgot something, and don't be shy to get in contact with me as well. The next video, which explains the final step of aligning and printing on our paper, should be up now as well. Happy printing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!